From the locker rooms to the fields of play, from the passion and rivalries to the championship seasons, get inside, get in depth with the newsmakers who shape sports here in the Lehigh Valley. Welcome to Calling All Sports with Keith Groller, brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network, a passion for better medicine.
Coming up, it's our season-ending show, and we have two very special people. We have Bobby McLaren, we have Sammy Barone, and we're going to talk about youth sports. We're going to talk about our athletes, what they're doing now, where are they going in the future, as we kind of put a bow on the 2015-2016 school year. Stay with us, Calling All Sports, coming your way next.
At Lehigh Valley Health Network, we know there are no routine surgeries. Each one requires a team to work at its best, every procedure, every day. When you're the one facing surgery, it's good to know you're in the hands of someone who has done this many, many times before. Last year, our network performed 70% more surgeries than anyone else in our region. The fact is, the more you do, the better you are.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Calling All Sports. My name is Keith Groller, and so happy you're spending part of your night with us. And we want to thank you for watching us since September as we went through another tremendous school year of athletics here in the Lehigh Valley, from the Parkland football team in Saucon Valley back in the fall to some great basketball action in the winter. And now we're wrapping up with great track and baseball and softball action here in the spring. Our athletes continue to amaze and perform at a high level and represent us well at the state level. And this show kind of talking about those athletes. Our first segment, going to have a former Liberty High star, U.S. Naval Academy performer, and he does a great job with his 5-star heart camp, talking about Bobby McLaren. Welcome back to our show, Bobby.
Thanks, Keith. Thanks for having me on today.
It's a real pleasure. And first of all, let's get the details out. You're going to do your 5-star heart, what do you call it, camp or clinic?
Yep. So it's a 5-star heart football clinic. It's a non-contact football clinic. But I want to think of it more as more of a clinic. It's an event. It's a series of events, actually. And it's called the Combine of Life Clinic. It's going to be held on June 4th at Moravian College. Great event, having a lot of coaches, college coaches, guys that I played with from the Naval Academy. They'll be there. Moravian staff, Jeff Puxton's done a great job in turning that program around. Guys coming down from Dartmouth, Ian Dell from Lafayette. So it's going to be a great event all around, 5th through 11th grade. And along with the clinic, I mean, the kids are going to be able to not only go to the clinic, but my focus is on providing kids with a vision of what lies ahead with hard work in the classroom, on the field. A lot of these kids, they just don't have that vision. So on June 23rd, clinic participants, about 3 busloads, we're going down to Temple University to show kids, show them what lies ahead. We're going to tour the facilities at Temple. The kids are going to be able to participate in skills and drill sessions with Temple football players, and the Temple football players are going to just drive home a message of perseverance and what got them to that stage of their life. We also got a community service projects. All the participants that come to the clinic are encouraged to participate in a day of caring at the Northside Boys Club on June 8th. And, my focus is on, in football, truly one of the messages is selflessness. So I feel it's important to show kids, hey, football taught me to be selfless. And we want to give back to the community. And then as well as kids are going to be randomly chosen to go on an all-access bus trip to Under Armour headquarters down in Baltimore on June 17th. And what we want to do there, it's going to be great going to the leading apparel company in the world. But I want to show kids, hey, what can you do with a design degree? What can you do with a marketing degree? Show kids behind the scenes of a major company, hey, if you work hard in the classroom, you could take your love of sports and combine it with an education, and here's what you can do. Again, and then as well as all the 8th graders this year, it's going to be the first eligible class to be eligible for the 5-star Heart Finish Scholarship. That scholarship is going to be presented to one individual who attends my clinic. It's not going to be presented to 2020. Why this? I feel it's important to show kids and to instill in kids, hey, it's not about where you start the marathon of life, it's about where you finish. So we're going to pick a kid, 2020, kid's going to walk away with a great scholarship. And my whole goal is just to get the community together for a morning of football. It's only $20. A lot of kids have been sponsored for this event, and to just really drive home great football instruction, great motivational speakers. I got guys coming, former Navy SEALs coming, and to participate, and it's just going to be a wonderful event for the community all around.
Where can people get? You covered just about everything, Bobby. I don't have any more questions, but how about one important question? How can I get involved?
Yeah, to get involved. So right now we're on our third bus of participants going down to Temple. So if you want to jump on board, first of all, and also too, the clinic is unlimited. However, the bus trip fills up. We're on our third bus now. But if you want you want your son or daughter to take part in this, please go to www.thefivestarheartproject.org. Again, www.thefivestarheartproject.org, all spelled out. And that's how you sign up, register, and everything's included. Lunch is included. Lunch, breakfast for the trips included. You get a free T-shirt. My goal is to, easy advertising for me is to give T-shirts out and build a brand of character. And that's what I'm trying to do around the Lehigh Valley.
Tremendous, absolutely tremendous. And every time we have you on, this is your second time on the show, had you on the radio a couple times, that passion pours out of you, Bobby McLaren, and we're always very proud of you and what you've meant to Liberty High School and our country, really, serving and attending the U.S. Naval Academy and playing for the midshipmen. I want to just change course just a little bit and talk about the athlete of today. The game of football, very important in your life. Reports are always negative these days, NFL concealing stuff and whatever. I don't want to get into that, but you, more than anybody I know, perhaps exude what passion and football is all about. Defend your sport a little bit, if you wouldn't mind.
I mean, football in my situation and amongst others in society, it sets the foundation of society. It teaches kids, work ethic, to persevere, to not quit, team. All those things add up. It's a catalyst to success, and that's what it's given me. And as well as let your kid play multiple sports. Everybody talks about specializing into one sport. No, let your kid play multiple sports. But truly, football to me, it has prepared me greatly. If it wasn't for football, I wouldn't have had a chance to get to the Naval Academy. My SATs, they were average. They were 1,100. But football has allowed me to get to the Naval Academy. And when I was at the Naval Academy, I was able to persevere. Sports, it teaches you to multitask. The entire world these days is it's surrounded by communication. Football, you communicate with your teachers, with your teammates, and it allows you to truly be focused on something that means greater to yourself, that means more than yourself. Meaning, one day, a lot of these athletes, student athletes that have success in football, they go on to represent their organization. They go on to represent their corporation. Corporation and organizations these days are all about how you take a multifaceted individual and give him the opportunity to succeed in that organization. And that's what football has allowed me to do. Whether it would be at managing folks at a recycling center or now working at Air Products, it just taught me, it set the ground for me to succeed at what I'm doing now. And without football in America, we would be, a lot of folks would not know where to go. For a lot of individuals that do come from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, it gives them a release, it gives them something to turn to and allows them to be a part of something greater than themselves. So that's what football has done to me. And I'm fortunate enough to be a part of my life was transcended because of that game. And now I've used my successes and now hopefully influence others to, hey, you got something in your life. You got academics, you got football, take that and make that a part of your life and go on to excel with both those, and you'll be a great person. And football teaches you to be a great father, a great husband, and a great employee of a corporation one day.
Well said. Just your thoughts on the city of Bethlehem. You're a product of Liberty High School, and I know you're very tight with a lot of those people from that community that were so influential in your career, and you're still keeping the essence of your campus still at Moravian College, correct? So,
Yep.
so you're still in that Christmas City. Great town. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I had Jason Brader on the show a couple of weeks ago, former Liberty Star. It's a neat thing that goes on. There's a transcendency there. There's tradition, and one generation. You're part of a generation goes way back to the great Chuck Bednarik back in the 40s, and then we had Tommy Donchez and Mike Gooman and Mike Hartenstein that came out in the 60s and the 70s, and of course the most recent era with people like Anthony Gonzalez and Jarrett West and yourself and on, Danny Persa, all these guys. It's kind of be fun to be a part of that great Bethlehem tradition, and I think football more than any sport has that great tradition.
Oh, it was awesome. I was at the Hall of Fame banquet a few weeks ago, and we had the 2008 team there, and you just go to Liberty High School, and it's truly a microcosm of America. It's all walks of life, rich, poor, black, white, Puerto Rican, all there for the same common goal on an athletic field. And I love Bethlehem. I'm a Bethlehem guy, born and raised here. My wife and I, we had the option to go other places, D.C. and stuff like that when I was getting out of the military, but I said, Kate, we're moving to Bethlehem. Because, in an institution like Liberty or like the surrounding high schools, where you do have a truly mix of people that are coming together for one common goal, it says something. It says something about, how we should be as a society, how we should take care of each other. And that's what football has taught me. That's what Liberty High School has taught me. Everybody has a role in an athlete's life, whether it be the janitor, whether it be the teacher, whether it be the coach, the facilities people, that keep the grounds, spotless. That's what life's about. And that's what sports teaches you. And that's what I want to just get into into these young kids these days. Hey, look, take the opportunity, seize that opportunity, and number one, respect all walks of life.
Man, we're probably running out of time in this segment, but I wanted to get your thoughts on today's youth. The kid is kind of torn in so many different directions nowadays. Many in Allentown do not have the means to, they don't have the parent support that we had growing up when I grew up in Allentown 30, many years ago. But talk about today's youth, the kid that you've come to know, because you're dealing primarily, Bobby, with the middle school kid who is at such an impressionable stage of his life. Talk about the kids that and is our future going to be okay with this current generation that's coming through? Yeah,
I think our future will be okay. But it is true, the world has changed. Like I talk to people when I'm reaching out to folks who have their kids sign up for my clinic, the parents don't even know a lot of times where Moravian College exists. So that's the future that we live in. And I think it's our responsibility, meaning the student athletes that have succeeded, to reach out to these kids. I look at my program as a youth development program where, it falls on me, my responsibility to take these kids and say, hey, here's what you can do. And, the world has changed. Let's be realistic. Social economic disparity has risen over the years since I was a kid, and the demographics have changed. But one thing is certain, that we truly have great people in this world, people that can reach out to kids and just grip them and say, hey, here's what we got. Here's what we're looking for. It's believe and achieve in your dreams. So that's what I'm about.
As long as we have great role models like you, spreading that good word, talking about hard work, talking about coming together as a people, I think we're in good hands. One more time as we close out this segment, give me as concisely as possible, the details and your address one more time.
Yeah, real quick. June 4th, clinic. It's 8:30 to 12:30. Going to be a great clinic. Along with the clinic is the all-access bus trip to Temple University on June 23rd. Along with that is kids are going to be randomly chosen to go to Under Armour headquarters on June 17th. So we have community service projects involved. A lot of things going on there. But if you could visit my website, www.the5starheartproject.org. Again, www.the5starheartproject.org, all spelled out. That'll give you the details and where I'm headed with this thing. This is only the beginning of something special. I truly believe that.
You are a special guy, Bobby McLaren, and I wish you all the best with this every year. You do. You reach out more kids and bring them under the fold and teach them the right things. And if they could just pick up a smidge of what you're talking about, they're going to be better people and going forward. All the best.
Hey, thanks a lot.
That's Bobby McLaren. Get involved. 5-Star Heart. What a great thing. What a great project he's put together. We're proud of Bobby. Liberty High School, U.S. Naval Academy, and we wish him all the best. Coming up next, we're going to talk some basketball. Sammy Barona. We're going to talk about the future of basketball here in the Lehigh Valley. Stay with us as this final edition for this year of Calling All Sports continues after this timeout.
At Lehigh Valley Health Network, we know there are no routine surgeries. Each one requires a team to work at its best, every procedure, every day. When you're the one facing surgery, it's good to know you're in the hands of someone who has done this many, many times before. Last year, our network performed 70% more surgeries than anyone else in our region. The fact is, the more you do, the better you are.
And welcome back to Calling All Sports, our season-ending show for the 2015-16 year. Of course, a lot of what we do talk about here every week is high school athletics. First segment, we talked with Bobby McLaren from Liberty High School and the U.S. Naval Academy about the sport of football and what that means to him, what that means to the Lehigh Valley. And now we're going to talk about hoops and, of course, something that's near and dear to me. It's become a year-round thing, high school basketball, because I get into the summer tournaments coming up at Cedar Beach, the Stellar, the Sports Fest events, which dominate the month of July. A lot of great action out there. And once we get through that, we're going to look forward to a great 2016-17 season. And here to help me do that, one of the great basketball personalities here in the Lehigh Valley, Mr. Sammy Barona. Welcome to our show, Sam.
I appreciate it, Mr. Groller. Thank you for having me.
You have to call me Mr. Groller. It makes me feel even older than I already feel. But Sammy, we just come off an exciting basketball season this past year. Of course, Parkland getting to the quarterfinals. You work with a lot of those Parkland kids. Parkland losing some great kids like Kyle Stout, Jack Dreisbach, Devontae Cross, Kenny Yeboah. But Parkland's going to be strong looking ahead, and I know you work with a lot of those kids.
Yeah, it should be, they had a good program there. Those kids, definitely Jack, Kenny, Kyle, and Devontae were definitely a big piece to that success, but I think that they have some good up-and-coming kids, and they'll solidify Sam, who's returning, and a couple of other guys that are returning. So I think they should be okay for next year.
Kyle Stout, you worked with him personally. He was the Player of the Year with, not the Morning Call, but he was the Lehigh Valley Live.com Player of the Year. He was the VIA Player of the Year. What do you think of Kyle and his future? It's great that we're going to get to see him just down the road there in Easton at Lafayette College, right?
It's been an awesome relationship that I have with Kyle. I started training Kyle 8th grade year, and Kyle, from the beginning, when I saw him, I saw a very ambitious, determined kid. And I remember one of our first conversations was I asked him if he believed he could be a Division I player. He kind of shrugged his shoulders. He's a very humble kid, and I said that if you put in the work, I believe and know that you can be one. And from that time, we spent many hours in the gym, and to see the maturation of him and the successes that he's had. But it's a testament to his family. They're a beautiful, Stout family. I love the family. And also we have his sister coming up too, Cass Stout, and she's going to be exciting and to watch. But yeah, I think he's definitely going to have a great career at Lafayette, and I'm excited that he's close and we'll be able to watch him.
That's great. That's another thing to look forward to in 2016-17. You also, at the VIA banquet, you were posing with Kyle, you were posing with Carly Kirchnavi from Palisades, who was the Morning Call, and I think about every organization's Player of the Year on the girls' side. Carly going to, what, University of Binghamton?
University of
We
Binghamton.
wish her well up there. Great kid.
Yeah, Carly, she's another girl, awesome kid, great family, and Carly from the beginning was just a very determined kid, so she was open to everything that I was trying to teach her. She was very hungry to learn, and one of the most hardest working but great team leaders that I've seen in the girls program, and a testament to her accolades that she had that she accomplished at Palisades. I believe one of the all-time leading scorer and rebounder in the school's history. So I'm very excited for her future in Binghamton University as well.
Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into working with these. You had a nice college basketball career after not having much of a high school career. You told me that story before.
Yeah.
But how did you get into working one-on-one with so many of our great basketball players?
So coming from a background, I just briefly touched it, that I came from a background of not playing not a second of high school basketball. I moved from New York, and then I was in the CYO league, and I thought when I got to Central that I would come in and maybe even be moved up to JV or varsity, but things didn't go that way. But I see how God used it in my future, that I tell kids that when adversity comes your way, you have a choice. You could allow it to make you bitter, or you could allow it to make you better. And So I was playing overseas, and I ended up having a pain in my knee, and it wouldn't go away, and they were treating it. But once I got back, I went to OAA, and they saw a little lateral patella tear in my tendon, and they thought it was going to be a 4 to 6 week recovery, but it ended up being microfracture surgery, and it actually was the day that my basketball career ended. But I was doing rehab, and a parent walked up to me and asked me if I could train their son in basketball, and I never really had any inclination to do that. But I knew basketball, and I took the challenge, and I started to train that kid. And from that kid, he was the first kid, was Chris Costa, and he led me to the next kid I trained was Devontae Cross. And Devontae just took off and became so much better. And then from there on, I was able to train a lot more kids in the Valley.
Well, to me, and I know that he didn't win a weekly, I'm involved with the VIA thing, and I'm going to be emceeing their banquet this week, which I'm really looking forward to because many of the great athletes in the Lehigh Valley, senior athletes, are going to be there. To me, though, Devontae, who is not eligible because he didn't win a weekly contest, and I don't know if he would be eligible anyway because he got a full ride. Right. So maybe it's good that he's not eligible for this because $10,000 goes to the winner, and Devontae is going to have a full ride to Virginia. But I think he's one of the most special athletes we've ever had around here. I mean, you talk about 4 for 4 in two of the main sports, football and basketball. Your thoughts on him?
Devontae Cross, when I started with him, and he doesn't like me to say much, but he was a smaller guy. He had goggles on, and I saw him, but I saw once again another kid that was very ambitious, very receptive to all the things that I was teaching him. And one thing I noticed early was Devontae is the type of person and athlete that is not going to settle for less. He is going to attack every hurdle, every obstacle, and he's going to, like they say, the cream rises to the top. And with Devontae, I'm just excited for anything. If he would have played basketball or football, he's going to be successful. And I'm excited for him and his opportunity at Virginia, and it's going to be great to watch him.
Mm-hmm. What in general? I think today's kid gets a knock. I think because the older we get, it's not like I was in my day. I think today's athlete works harder, is more dedicated, is more disciplined, more committed than ever before because they have to be.
Right.
You got this coach wanting this from him. You got that coach wanting that. An athlete like Devontae had all these commitments and all this stuff he had to do for 4 years at Parkland High School. I think the athlete of today is a better athlete overall, and sometimes it's maybe too disciplined because I think there's the fun element that's taken out of it a little bit. But I think they're working hard. I think our kids today represent us quite well.
Yes, they do. And like you said, these kids know that, the evolution of the sport and also with the athletes, and the kids know that, back in our time, we would just be able to go outside in the park and maybe emulate things that we would see on TV. But now, the aspect of training and working on your game and your fundamentals and your mechanics and your shooting form is so important because there's a lot of kids doing this and you kind of get left behind if you're not keeping up. And so it's a very important aspect of the game is the individual development.
How many kids do you work with, Sam?
I've been blessed to train over 400 kids,
wow.
And currently, right now, I'm training like 75 kids. But it's been an amazing thing because I never expected to be a trainer or to have this opportunity, not only to train them, but to be a part of their lives, to be a mentor, and to be part of their family's lives. And it's just an awesome feeling that I get that's so enriched fulfillment that I get being a part of their lives and their development.
Well, as the basketball season was winding down, I did a story with Devontae, spent about a half hour with him out of Parkland High School, and we talked about a lot of different things, and your name came up. You're obviously very influential in his life and influential in the lives of so many. You got to be very proud of that.
Oh, I'm so proud, and I love him like a little brother. Me and him are very close. We talk, 3-4 times a week, even though he's now in football training. Basketball, I tell him, people ask me, well, how do you feel? You trained him since he's 11 years old to 18, and Devontae had 29 offers, football and basketball in Division I. And I say that, basketball was the vehicle for our relationship. It's bigger than a sport, because the sport's going to come and go. But I'm so thankful that I'm part of his life that I hope even after his career is over that we're still going to be close and family like we are.
You come from New York City many, many years ago. You're established now. You're settled in here. What do you think in general of the Lehigh Valley scholastic sports scene? What do you think, Sam? You think we're doing good?
Yeah, no, I think coaches are doing a great job. I look at it, I could have come from a bitter point because I wasn't able to enjoy some of the successes and have the opportunity. But looking back at it, I'm thankful for everything because everything works together to to where you're going to end up in your destination. And I just think that there's a couple of things I feel that the coaches are doing a great job with the kids, but the influx or the translation from what I'm teaching as far as trying to find the potential of their individual, who they are as a player. And sometimes that's a challenge for them because they're starting to see and realize these potentials, but then they're going into some systems that are not allowing them to exploit those strengths.
Then that time-worn problem that we have where, we have a certain style around here sometimes, and a guy like Doug Snyder, you have to really like. He lets his kids play, and of course Talik Williams and Therese Martin, those two young men are reason that I think a lot of Allen basketball fans can't wait for the 2016-17 season.
Absolutely. Those two guys, I get to see them occasionally at LA Fitness. They come in the morning, I try to talk to them and just, give them a little food for thought in the ear. I say life gives you experience and experience gives you wisdom. So I try to impart some wisdom to them, but it's definitely going to be an exciting year. And I'm excited to watch all those teams. Emmaus has the Cacareese boys, and then Parkland once again is going to be there. Allen's
everybody from Whitehall returns. Central Catholic's got a lot of talent returning.
Yes.
So it's going to be great. The thing about life is it goes by so quickly. I don't want to rush anything, but I am really looking forward to the 2016-17 basketball season. How about you, Sam?
Oh, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Excited. I'm always there. I bring my family. I like to bring my two boys to see it so they get the seed and the bug to want to be in that atmosphere as well.
Really quick, we're running out of time, but how can people get your personalized instruction?
My website is www.baronalab.com, and all the information is on there, and my number is 484-632-9495, and I'll be happy to work with your kids.
And I will see you. We're going to be out there. I plan my summer around it. I know you do too, to an extent. You're going to be out there. I think I spend like 8 out of 11 nights in July over a stretch there at Cedar Beach. Would not miss.
No,
Stellar.
that's a
would
great
not
time
miss
down
Sports
there.
Fest, right?
Yes.
And it's a great community thing. I mean, everybody, the fans come out and they watch.
Like,
you can in about 2 hours you can watch about 8 games. Where else do you get that opportunity?
The games and the atmosphere and the reunion of seeing people that you haven't seen every summer coming back together. It's awesome.
Sam, all the best to you, man. You do a
Thank you,
great
Keith.
job with the
Appreciate
kids,
it.
and everybody I talk to says you do a wonderful job with them.
Thank you very
Keep
much.
doing and helping our kids out. All right.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
I want to thank Bobby McLaren. I want to thank Sam Braun. I want to thank everybody who has made another great season possible here at Service Electric. We've enjoyed coming to you each and every Monday night. We have a great community and people pulling together. And whether you're from Allen or Deerfield or Parkland or Emmaus, Whitehall, Central Catholic, Southern Lehigh, you name it, we love the sports community here in the Lehigh Valley. And we'll see you again hopefully next year with another season of Calling All Sports. Until then, be well and be happy, and we'll see you once again. Good night, everybody.